So currently I am compiling all the information that I'm finding out about Tyler Robinson and this event. But before I make that video, I do just want to respond to some comments like this one. Believing in God isn't solely a right-wing concept, and I agree. I never said that it was. I never said that you have to belong to the Republican Party or the Democrat Party in order for you to believe in God. I agree with you on that one. However, we do have to understand and be honest with ourselves that a lot of the liberal movement is based on going against God and what God has prescribed for humans. Not just that, but there is a huge hypocrisy when it comes to the liberal movement and the way that they purposely will disrespect Christianity. However, they will accept Muslims and go out of their way to protect Muslims. But when it comes to Christians, it's been evident that they are clearly for disrespecting Christians, especially Jesus. A lot of conservatives have been talking about this, and when it comes to the liberals, they do go against a lot of what God has prescribed for humans. For example, transgender ideology, and this is not what God wants from us at all. There are conservatives who do talk about these transgender laws due to their religious values. However, there are also a lot of conservatives who are against transgender ideology due to just the basic science. You are a male or you're a female. Even those who claim they are atheists within the conservative movement, they are still upholding godly values because, like I said, a lot of the conservative movement is based around God and upholding godly values like marriage. That's why the nuclear family is emphasized within the conservative movement. However, a lot of conservatives are also for the nuclear family simply because they understand that communists do want to take over the West. And that is why the nuclear family has become targeted. And even when it comes to Black Lives Matter, they have talked about destroying the nuclear family. A lot of the liberals do go against what God wants for us, like a family. Liberals are for abortion. Conservatives are not, mainly due to their religious moral values. And when it comes to conservative and liberals, this is something that we tend to see becomes an issue. People's moral values. God has prescribed for men to work and lead their families. That's why a lot of conservatives talk about that. Not every conservative is Christian. For example, me, I am Muslim. I am Muslim because I believe in God. That is it. Now, when it comes to Islam being used for evil, we can get into that when it comes to another video. But I'm strictly Muslim just because I believe in God, and that's it. I do believe that Jesus is my Messiah, and I do believe that Jesus will return. I still love Jesus. That is what makes Christians and Muslims similar. However, the difference between Christians and Muslims is the simple fact that Christians believe that Jesus is God. Muslims do not believe that at all. Now, you can say that our founding fathers never wanted explicitly Christianity to rule the Americas. However, they were still Christian. When you go into Latin America, they still believe heavily in Jesus. And even when it comes to our dollar bills, even our Pledge of Allegiance, we do still talk about God though. Like I said, liberals allow communism, which communism is completely against God. I can continue going on with more and more examples like Big Pharma and how a lot of conservatives are completely against Big Pharma, again, due to godly values, because God doesn't want us to be playing God, and God wants us to protect our earth. Like, what the heck? God created earth, God created animals for us to not only respect, but also still be able to use in a respectful manner. Hello. I'm gonna just leave it at that, okay?